Good morning.
Morning.
All right, so we're going to start because I want to be mindful of everyone's time, including Jay's. I know he's got a very full schedule. So Jay, tell the group a little bit about yourself, when you got into real estate, why you got into real estate, and just a little bit about your professional background.
Okay. I've been licensed for 9 years. Prior to being in real estate, I had a corporate job, so I worked for Kohl's and for Boston Store in their buying office. So I was vice president of merchandising, supposedly living my dream job, while flipping houses on the side. So I'd live in a house for 2 years, I'd renovate it, sell it for a profit, and then go on to the next. Came to realize that I was enjoying that more and, quite frankly, making more money doing that. Got to a point in my career, had a family emergency. My dad passed away very unexpectedly and had to help my mom own a business, so we needed to, I had to take a second week of bereavement because we had to make payroll. We had to figure out how to, keep the company going. So when I asked for my second week off, my boss said, well, just make sure you get your priorities straight. And at that point, the light switched off and I decided, why the hell am I working for somebody else rather than myself? So talked with my husband, and we had a house in Whitefish Bay that we had finished renovating. And we said, you know what, if we could sell this, we would make enough money to have 2 years of my salary in the bank. So we put the house on the market, got an offer. We wrote an offer on 3 houses. So we one to move into and renovate for ourselves, and then 2 other houses that we bought to flip. Closed on all 3 properties, and the next day I went in and quit my job. So I took the leap off the top of the cliff. I started with a small boutique firm and worked there for about a year and a half. And when Marine Style A opened up Keller Williams, I had been talking to other brokerages because I knew the place I was at didn't match my core values. So saw Marine sign on Lake Drive and went and met with her. And I think maybe 15 minutes into the conversation, I signed my paperwork and joined KW.
Hey, Janine, you're talking to my.
So that's my history there. I met Janine when she and her husband were selling their house and downsizing. And am I getting too in depth, Janine, or is that okay? Is this boring?
You're good.
Okay.
It's nice to hear your background, Jay.
Okay, I want to make sure I'm not boring you guys. My first year in real estate, I did 9 million. My second year in real estate, I did 22 million. And that was me as a solo agent. I had no life. I was working probably from 6 in the morning until midnight every day. So when I met Janine and her husband, when they were downsizing, Janine made a comment she had sold real estate back when she lived in Dallas. And not having been trained at Keller Williams, I didn't know how to hire. I hired Janine because I needed someone to help with paperwork. Janine is not paperwork. She's relationships and selling. So she and I started, and then we jumped over to KW. Our third year in business, we did 42 million, I think it was. Then we did 78 million. Then it just jumped. So last year, our team did 162 million in sales.
So, Jay, why do you think you're so successful? What sets you apart from everyone else? Like when you see newer agents out there and they're struggling, I guess, what do you think maybe within you sets you apart? What did you maybe do differently that others can learn from?
I'm fabulous. No.
We know.
Oh God. I'll just be honest, guys. I absolutely eat, sleep, and breathe real estate. I love houses. I loved renovating them. But quite frankly, I didn't possess the opportunity to fail. I worked far too much. I gave up a lot of things. We've got 3 kids, and I missed a lot of soccer games and school events and all of that to focus on my business because I was probably too driven with that. But I think I'm successful because I have a passion for it, and I don't ever stop learning. I don't ever stop trying to be better. I don't know. It's hard to say. And I will say, I will always do what's right by my clients. I will always do what's right by my clients.
Yeah.
Jay, do you go to the office every day?
Absolutely. I need to be in the zone. So when COVID hit, obviously, as a business owner, I had a little mini meltdown that I've got 9 people on payroll, and my commitment to my team is I won't not pay you for a year. If our business shut down, we all have a year to figure out how to fix it. But that weighed heavily on me. So working from home, I got into taking naps, and I got into doing jigsaw puzzles, and I would watch daytime TV. Like, I quickly fell out of my habit. Because obviously the fear of the unknown, there wasn't anything to do. You couldn't go out and show. So that really sucked my motivation down. So about 45 days into it, kind of kicked myself in the ass and kind of refocused. So no, I go to the office every single day.
So when you first started, and you started out and you took off quickly, but when you didn't have any business per se coming into you, what did that day look like for you, Jay, when you had really little or no business?
Mm-hmm.
How did you create the business that you have today?
So when I started, I worked for Powers Realty. So when I joined her team, she had just left her previous brokerage and started her own. So I worked in her basement with her and her teammate Gretchen. And I think I showed up the first day at 7:30 in the morning, and she's like, what is this? But I told her, I said, I got it. I'm not paid. My entire corporate career, it was every 2 weeks, I knew what went into my checking account and what went to what account. And suddenly I had no money coming in. So I told my broker, I said, I will be your bitch. I will do everything and anything you want me to do, whether it's staple listing packets, make copies, fax, because back 9 years ago we still faxed. I literally would do anything she needed me to. I remember, she didn't have a staging company then. I was throwing stuff in the back of my car to help, and I learned from her. So I guess what I would say to any of you individual agents, find an agent in the office that is willing to use you and abuse you. Be their unpaid showing assistant, be their unpaid, I don't know, whatever it is. If there's someone at that office that needs help and you're willing to learn and work hard for them, I think it's a great opportunity, because I think 99% of your learning or your growth in this job is from on the job learning.
So you didn't wait for the opportunities to come to you. You made those opportunities happen, is what I'm hearing.
I had to, because that first mortgage payment that came out of my savings account, gutted me, because, the numbers were going down, they weren't going up. I also didn't have the gift of Keller Williams training. Nobody taught me how to work my database, how to build a database, how to be an agent. I did open houses. I did open houses every single Sunday, Mother's Day, Father's Day. I think I was told I couldn't do it on Easter Sunday. But I would take every open house I could. Back then we didn't do Thursdays or Saturdays. It was just Sundays. So I would try to do 3 if she would give me 3. And because it was all in my neighborhood, I got to know the properties. I study MLS every single morning. My focus is 3 zip codes. So every single morning I pull up how many single family homes are in active, delayed, pending, and withdrawn. And I study it every single morning. I think I've looked at it twice already today, because typically Thursdays is when stuff starts to pop. I know every house that goes under contract. I know every house that gets withdrawn. I watch those withdrawn houses to see when they go to expired. But I can then, when I go to show a house today, I've studied the market. I know the house. I study how many showings they have or I don't know specifically how many showings, but I study how many open slots there are in showing time to give my buyer an idea of how busy that listing is.
And I can tell you, sitting next to Jay for 7 years, he is absolutely right. He knows everything about every house, whether he's been inside of it or not. So when he is showing property or listing a property, he will floor you with the information that he knows because he takes the time to go in there and really study the market and what's happening every single day. Like every day I'll walk in, did you see that one on the market? Did you see that with, you're looking at it all the time. So my next question is, can you give us a typical day of your schedule and what that looks like? I mean, I'm looking at today's schedule and we share a schedule. Give us a typical day in the life of Jay when it starts out in the morning and what you do in the morning all the way until you go night.
Well, I'm going to be real. I'm not going to be one of these
No.
KW people that says, I wake up at 4:30 in the morning and I have an hour of deep thought and meditation. And for those of you who can, I don't know if Pedro's on this call, I had lunch with Pedro the other day and listening to him, how he starts his day. I'm like, damn it, I got to get better at that. My typical day, I have a trainer 3 times a week because that's the only way I can get my ass working out.
What
the mornings, 7:30.
Okay.
So I get up, coffee, hang out with Blake, watch the end of the morning show and watch the first half hour of the Today Show because I'm sorry, I enjoy that. That's my coffee and phone time. Because typically if you got a busy day, you don't get home and get to spend any time just vegging. So I start my day vegging, which is probably not the smartest thing. And then after workout or showered, I typically get my butt to the office, start my day there. And then it's run like heck. I am so not the poster child for Keller Williams. I don't time block well. I don't, dedicate 9 to 11 o'clock for lead generation. I've never been good at doing that. It's one skill one habit I wish I had started. But I do know in watching myself and watching Janine, we lead generate all day, every day. Every conversation is intentional. Every text message is intentional. But that's one thing I wish my 9-year into the business self told my first day of business is get in the habit of time blocking that morning.
What does your day look like today, Jay? So you've already worked out.
I have you lovely people for an hour. Then I show my new listing at 11 with my teammate Jordan, and then she's going to finish the showing because I have to then show at 11:30. What's funny, Janine? I haven't even gotten past.
Oh, I can pretty much tell you what you're doing.
So yeah, I have that 11 o'clock showing, 11:30 showing, a 1 o'clock showing. I have a 3:30 showing, a 4:30 showing, a 5:30 walkthrough. So a lot of showings today. I don't have enough listing appointments. I should be lead generating for more listing appointments.
Well, there you have it. Now we know what you need to do. Let's talk specifically about winning at a listing appointment, and what do you think the magic sauce is in walking up with that listing in your hand? Do you have any words of wisdom?
I study the house. I study the comps. So when I go in, I've got a really good idea if it's a shithole, if it's a dump, it's going to be this range. If it's decent, here's the price range. And if it's killer, here's the price range. I always have comps with me. I rarely, Janine, do we ever say, you know what, you threw us for a loop on this one. Let me go back, pull some comps and send to you.
Right.
So I'm old school. I need to have paper. So I print out my comps. I print out the data sheet for each of the comps I pull. And then I print out the list of those, however many, whether it's 5 comps. I don't try to go more than 10 comps because then you can get too much. But if you haven't asked enough pre-qualifying questions before showing up, sometimes you have to pull more comps to have yourself covered. But I then jot down notes on every single comp I'm going to show them. I don't necessarily show them all 10. I think lately I've been trying to hone in on, hey guys, here's the 2 comps that best represent your home. But I've studied the market. I've studied those comps. I know frontwards and backwards which houses we're going to talk about that is comparable to them. And then quite frankly, I show up with my pre-typed out listing contract with me. If you're not showing up with a listing contract in your listing folder, what are you doing? Why are you going on a listing appointment if you're looking to not get it? Like, that's the mindset I have going in. And then quite frankly, I'm successful in my listing appointments because I bring my teammate Janine as much as possible. When Janine's not available, Jordan or another agent on my team will come with. I believe there's a benefit of 2 people sitting in a room, because there's many times, if you can guess, I'm very analytical, and sometimes my emotional IQ isn't as tuned in. So there will be times that Janine will kind of interject to slow the conversation down on the analytics side, jump more into the human aspect of it. But that's the other piece of it. I think I've gotten better in my skills over the years of really honing in and listening to what the seller wants to talk about. Because when we show up, it's not about me talking, it's about listening to them and asking more questions to get them talking more about themselves, their house, their needs, their wants.
So I'm going to just throw you a couple of objections that we will be, we'll hear at listing appointments. So, and I'm not going to try to do specific to our team. Just, I want to try to act as if you're a solo agent, Jay, because
Sure.
a lot of these people are,
Yeah.
and it's hard to compete against a team. So let's do this. So Jay, thanks for coming to my house today. I have one other agent I'm going to interview, and so I'll get back to you. Thank you.
Perfect. So I'm your first interview today, or first interview in the process of selling your home?
I've interviewed one other person. You're in the middle.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. So based on what we've kind of reviewed, the statistics of my performance, we've reviewed the comps. Do you have any questions about the price I gave you about your home?
No, the price seems about right. I like that price. Yep.
Perfect. Yeah. Usually pricing a home is probably the most, intricate discussion process. So I'm glad that we're on the same page on that. We've kind of reviewed my performance. Do you have any questions about my ability to represent you better than anybody?
No, I don't have any doubts of that.
Perfect. So we've hammered out the price and we've both agreed I'm fabulous. So tell you what I'd like to do is, as we reviewed my marketing and strategy of taking your house to market, I'd like to not delay. What I'd love to do is let's sign the listing contract and get the marketing machine moving. Because remember, we're going to use this time in delayed status to build momentum. So why would we wait? The market's extremely hot and I'd love to earn the opportunity to work for you. So can we sign the paperwork now?
Ooh, that's good. So you notice how he heard that I had another appointment, but he's trying to close. All right. Jay, I liked everything you said. However, honestly, the person that I'm possibly going to be listing my house with, he is going to do it at a 5% commission.
Okay. And I appreciate that. In looking at the closing statement, commission is going to be the largest expense in selling your home. So I'm not sitting here ignorant of the fact that that's a consideration for you. So we've kind of established that your house, we think we'll list around 500,000. So let's really quantify that discount that agent's giving you. When an agent's lead in to get you to work with them is, hey, I'll discount. In the absence of value and performance, discount is what's going to get you to work with someone. That's what's going to get you to work with someone who doesn't perform as well. So just kind of put that in the back of your mind, but let's focus in on that $5,000 discount. Let's say you take your house to market And if that agent doesn't have the same comprehensive marketing strategy, if that other agent isn't with Keller Williams, they don't syndicate to the number of websites that we do. You look at my Trulia presence, we put your property out in front of more people than anybody. So if that other person doesn't do that and you don't get that offer that you want, is the first price drop going to be 5,000 or will it actually be 10, 20, 25,000? I would assume on a $500,000 listing, you would at least take a $10,000 price drop to get your house sold. So really that 1% discount cost you 2%. And again, I'd pull out my statistics and show my list to sale ratio. And then I'd also show what's happening right now in the current market. But so again, I really do appreciate that, Janine. Commission is a big consideration. But I think the bigger consideration is who's got the most comprehensive plan to get you the most money.
So my other agent that I spoke with stages, and I know that you don't, Jay, we do, but I'm just throwing this out there as an objection. And I really feel like I need to do something to my house in order to get it to the market. What do you suggest that we do about that?
So I'm going to get out of role play right now real quick. FYI guys, I staged houses from the day I started in this business. If it looked like a dump, I made sure it didn't look like a dump. So now I'm gonna switch back into role play.
Did you pay for that, Jay, on your own?
No, I did it myself.
Got it.
My husband would come home from work because he still had his corporate job at the time, and he'd see half of our furniture gone. Like I was a little extreme on it, but so going back into, I'm a single agent who does not stage. Can I be honest? The biggest thing staging is taking away. So really what we're doing, Janine, is we're going to set the stage in your house by lightening it up in terms of the amount of things in the home. So what we're going to do is once we send the paperwork, we're going to have a staging consult, you and I, and we're going to discuss what needs to be done to get your house ready. And if there's something that I need to bring in, I've got that handled.
Love it. So there you go, you guys. You can compete against an agent or a team that offers staging. Don't let that get in your way. So Jay, let me think of another. Hey guys, why don't you speak up? Throw out an objection, a listing objection to Jay. Why you would not list with him today?
I'm gonna.
Hear?
Oh,
Yeah,
how about my wife. I just got this. My wife's friend is a real estate agent. She hasn't been returning her phone call, but so I had to, come back for that. But we still want to wait to talk with her and see what she can provide.
Sure. I appreciate that, Mrs. Seller. I think the biggest thing you have to remember is this is a huge business transaction for you. For most people, your home is the largest form of wealth. And let's be honest, if something's not going smoothly in the transaction, you want to call up and as the employer, light up your employee. I'm your employee, and you may not feel comfortable doing that with your friend. So let's treat this like a business transaction. I'm ready to work for you. And I'm ready to take all criticism, critique, and input from you because I work for you and my focus is on you.
All right. I'm worried if I sell my house before I find a house, we'll be forced to be homeless or settle on our new house, Jay.
We can get you a really pretty cardboard box to move into. And I will tell you guys, I do use humor in my listing presentations at times when a type A personality is really, Janine, I just went on one over the weekend, both engineers, super buttoned up house. They need more space, but the idea of selling is same thing. Yes, I'm going to be homeless. So let's talk about that. So Janine, we've established your needs. You need more space because you're having a third child. When that dream house comes up tomorrow on the internet, do you have the ability to buy without selling? Because
No.
if you do, great. Okay. And you're not unlike a lot of people where you want to take your equity from your sale and put it onto your purchase. So let's role play out the fact that tomorrow your dream house comes up, you go look at it and you write a beautiful offer over asking price with a home sale contingency. What I can tell you in this market is my clients, I have not had a offer accepted with a home sale contingency probably in the last 6 months. So it's very hard to get your offer accepted. Now, what I can tell you, Janine, is I'm working for you. We put your house to market. We're going to put it in delayed status. It's going to give us time to get your house ready. It's going to also give us time to go out and kick some tires. And right now there's very limited houses on the market because the great ones that you're going to see in MLS that you want to go see got that offer. So don't get too hung up on what was, because what is coming, and it's going to be coming constantly. If we don't have you on the market and you don't have an accepted offer on your home, you're going to miss that house every single time. So what I'd like to do is, and what we've been successful with is, let's put your house on the market. Let's work on getting that buyer to give you a longer close of maybe 60 days, and then the ability to rent back for up to another 60 days. And I use an example, my clients on 5019 Cumberland, exact same scenario, wanted to close end of June. We put their house on the market in February. We had 30 some showings. They ended up accepting an offer over asking price. They then decided it was actually they found something and moved up the close date. I would rather see us get you on the market, get you an accepted offer, so now you're back in power. Right now, you are powerless. You have no opportunity to jump because you have to sell your house. Now, the other thing we could talk about is, you've owned your house for 10 years. You probably have a good chunk of equity. What I'd love to have you do is talk to my lender partner to see if there's an opportunity to do a home equity loan that maybe you could pull a small amount out, have 5% down to then go put that on your purchase without selling your home. And I'm very confident, we've reviewed the comps, your house isn't going to stay on the market in Whitefish Bay more than 2 weeks. So it's a calculated risk, but it's a risk I think that we've got to take because we aren't going to get you out of this swirling of how do I first make the move. And we're here to work with you. It's going to be nerve-wracking. You're going to be nauseous the day your house goes to market because the unknown of what you're going to end up in, I get it. It's not going to be fun, but we're here to work with you. And we got to get your house on the market and get you an accepted offer because you're going to miss out on 100% of those great new houses that come to market.
Okay, makes sense. Let's give me another objection, guys. What are you hearing out there?
Jay, you're younger than my stove. Why should I list with you?
That's a great question, Mrs. Seller. 99% of all listings are viewed online. And as a millennial, which I'm not, as someone that's younger than your stove, I have my finger on the pulse of technology, which is going to be the buyer that walks in your door. So my being a part of Keller Williams, we're the largest real estate company nationwide. We syndicate to more websites nationwide. And I'll use the example, Shore West because it's here in Milwaukee. Buyer coming from Austin, Texas has no idea what shorewest.com is. They're on Zillow, they're on Trulia, they're on their Shore West back in their hometown. Well, the great news is, Mrs. Seller, we syndicate to everybody. And this is all stuff that you aren't excited about, but I am. So as a young person that's focused on technology, 99% of buyers are going to see your house online first. So you want someone who's got their finger on the pulse of the technology side of real estate. And by the way, if you are an individual agent and you're younger, you also have to understand I'm part of Keller Williams. Here's our statistics, here's our performance, whatever number you want to use to show that, and say, I've got the support of the #1 market center in the state of, or in Metro Milwaukee.
Right. And you know what? And if you're brand new, I love the line of, I have 100% of my time to give towards selling your house. I'm not pulled in 10 different directions right now. So you're going to have 100% of me. And, new habits are great. Some old habits are not so great. And we see it out there. Any other objections for selling a house, listing a house?
Yeah, Janine, I had something happen last night. And what this is I sent the paperwork. They were to e-sign everything yesterday. And the seller's girlfriend at the last minute refused to move. So he, at 9:30 last night, refused to sign.
Hey, Mr. Seller, your girlfriend isn't on title. I say we kick her out and still list the property. What I would do is I would get on the phone with that
Yeah.
seller and say, sounds to me like, we got to figure out what's the hang up. Does your girlfriend love the house too much? Is she worried about what's the last minute change? Dig deep, go deep on that objection. That's a very personal, something's going on there. So pick up the phone and have a deep conversation and listen and support them.
One of the things she said is, my church is down the street. I work on, 2 miles away. Everything's convenient. I'm used to this. And frankly, I think she didn't want to get it ready for sale. I mean, it was cluttered. It was a mess.
Yep.
And I
That's
don't think
exact.
she wanted to do the work.
So you're hitting on her motivation. So what I would do then, if your gut is telling you she's lazy or doesn't want to deal with getting the house ready, pitch it in a way that makes it sound easy. Like, listen, we'll tackle, you got to dig deep enough to finally get there. But I guess if they were saying, well, I like where I live and I like the proximity to everything, I said, okay, well, what originally got the conversation going that I'm sitting here about to sell your home? So let's figure out what pain is more painful. Is it being in too small of a house that you guys are busting at the seams and the clutter is killing you? Or is it you don't want to move away from everything that's convenient? So let's talk about it. And if convenience of where you live right now is more important, you're right, we shouldn't sell. But if there's something else holding you back, let's figure out what the right approach is. Because you did have, after much conversation, guys, you reached out to me to sell your house. I just want to make sure we're making the right decision for you. And if you decide not to sell, totally understand. Timing's got to be right for you. But I just want to make sure we aren't missing this fantastic market. So let's talk about it.
Yeah. And you can share with them like why selling now makes so much more sense than selling in the future. Just again, with interest rates, tight inventory, all these pent up buyers, if they're going to maximize their return on their property, it is now. The buying power is going to decrease once the interest rates go up. And I think how we react to someone kind of second guessing themselves is going to resonate with that seller's mind, because they're going to watch your reaction. And if you react with emotion like they are, it may not go well. You almost have to drive back to, like Jay said, the purpose to begin with of why they wanted to move. So let's go with buyers, because a lot of times when you're a brand new agent, you have more buyers than you would have sellers. And obviously it sounds like you did a lot of open houses, and that's how you captured your buyers.
Yep, my first year, 9 million at a little over 70% was buyers.
Okay. And do you think that most of those came from open houses, Jay?
Just over 60% of my first year's business came from open houses.
Okay. So you didn't have any listings to hold open, so you were asking other agents at the brokerage to host their open houses, right?
Yep.
And you said you would do at least 2, if not 3, during the weekend consistently all the time.
Yep. And tried to take the listings in the same general area. I live in Whitefish Bay, so I wanted to sell in the North Shore. So would try to take consistently in the area. Now, if one came in Tosa or one came up in Mequon, yeah, I would jump on it, but would try to stay in my focused area. But let's be honest, guys, right now, with inventory as low as it is, there's not many open houses available. Like our team right now we don't have enough open houses to hold because everything sells the first day on the market.
Yep. So when you were doing those open houses, other than knowing the market and knowing that house, how did you present yourself at that open house, Jay? What was your shtick?
My shtick was I literally envisioned everybody that walked in the door had a paycheck stapled to their forehead. So I literally looked at everybody that walked through the door was a paycheck. And because again, when I first started in the business, that was my, I had to make money. So I engaged, and I didn't have the golden script that Janine gave me and I use now. So I I had never been in sales prior either. So for me, being salesy was hard. So I'd engage. Thanks for coming in. Here's some information on the house. I would, can I get your information? Who are you working with? My script now is, hey, thanks for coming in. My sellers ask, I'd like to register who your buyer's agent is, who you're working with. I used to ask, are you working with an agent? Then they'd say yes. And then I'd say who, and then it would get awkward because they were lying. So instead, my question to them is, for my seller's request, I'm registering the buyers that are coming through. Who is your buyer's agent that you're working with? Oh, I don't have one yet. Great. You know what? I'm not going to harass you for your information right now. Take a look around. Here's some information on the property. Don't miss this great master suite. And I'm here for questions. I then let them go. Halfway through, when they're either coming up or down from the stairs, what do you guys think so far? What's your highlights? What do you like? And there are people that are very standoffish. Those are the people that, okay, maybe am I going to try to engage a little bit of humor? Am I going to try to break the ice? Absolutely. If they have an agent and give me the agent's name, I'm still going to be extremely professional, extremely friendly, and just have a good time with them, because they do still at times give you their buyer's name or buyer's agent's name, and they've never signed with them, or just give that name to keep people off. But I always say, you walk in the door and say, hey, I'm working with Janine Werner. Oh my God, that's great. Hopefully she's sober today. No, just kidding. But I'll say, oh my gosh, that's great. I love working with Janine. I don't care if I've never heard of the person's name before. I always compliment them on their choice of agent. Completely breaks down then the awkwardness. Then it's, come on, come through the house. And then we talk about, we engage on the house. I am there to represent the seller. So I should be engaging someone that's walking through the house. I don't just turn off the fact if they have an agent. If they don't have an agent, I don't just start salivating and crawl all over them. My comment is, I'm not going to take your contact information right now. Let's see if this house works for you. Here you go. Now I do know I'm going to try to work harder to impress upon them some of my knowledge. How does this house work for you? Oh my gosh, we just started looking. Yeah, what? This market is absolutely crazy. Has anybody told you about delayed status? My favorite open house, we have a strategy in our team. We go live on a Thursday. We do Thursday night, Saturday, and Sunday open houses. And the reason why we do Thursday is typically we now are holding showing or offers until Sunday night per seller's request. But we used to, if someone was hot and heavy, they looked at it on Thursday, they wrote an offer, we have an accepted offer by Friday morning. MLS rules is you have to put it in MLS as active with offer within 48 hours. So Friday morning, I have an accepted offer. I still get to hold Saturday and Sunday open houses, because for us, that opportunity to be out in the market is to pick up more buyers and sellers. And I tell my sellers this, guys, if we accept an offer on Friday, keep your house open Saturday and Sunday. It gives us an opportunity to find the other interested buyers. Maybe we can get you a secondary offer and keep pressure on the primary. But I personally want to be there to hopefully pick up buyers and sellers.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I think I lost my train of thought on that one.
Nope, you're good. Here's an objection. Do I really have to pay full commission? We kind of talked about that. I feel like you won't be doing a lot. Homes are selling themselves, and you really don't have to do a whole lot of marketing.
It's a really good question. And you're right. I'm going to make it look extremely easy, because that's my job. There's a million touch points through this transaction, and the expertise I have is going to make it look extremely seamless to you. But trust me, Mrs. Seller, we have to work on your owner's title policy, and who's the lender's policy going to be? How are we going to negotiate home inspection? What is a defect? What's a cosmetic? This is where I start to kind of load a lot of information onto them, so their head starts to spin. Mm-hmm. And just, again, this is my job, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, to make this look seamless and easy. And again, if they're usually why do I have to pay the full commissions? Probably after they've asked if I'll do a discount. So if I'm second conversation or third time commissions coming up, we're going to go really deep on that, and we're going to be really direct. So, Janine, it sounds like to me, commission is the number one concern for you.
Yes.
And you're absolutely right, because that is the largest expense, other than maybe moving, if you're moving cross country, but
Right.
commission's a big deal. I really have to impress upon you though, my list to sale ratio and the true cost it's going to cost you if you pick the wrong agent. So again, here are all the things I'm going to do to get your house. Here's my marketing strategy. I don't just stick a sign in the yard. So we're going to go through again my beautiful listing presentation. I'm going to hit on all those marketing things we do again. So if I do my job seamlessly for you and you get a great offer and you accept it, isn't that commission well spent? Because if we make the wrong move, and I'll use the national average for sale by owners, sells 8 to 12% less than using an agent.
Yeah.
So really the agent you pick matters. And again, in the absence of performance, in the absence of being part of the #1 team at Keller Williams, or being a #1 brokerage in Milwaukee at Keller Williams, somebody has to offer you a discount to make it make sense to hire them.
Yep. And you know, I had this question thrown at me yesterday at a listing appointment, and when they already told me my competition was going to be doing a reduced commission fee, my quick answer was how quickly that other broker was willing to discount their commission. And I'm concerned that when they're negotiating on your largest asset, that they're going to be discounting your home.
Yep.
So that
And
was,
what-
wow. Oh, yeah.
And what I would tell you guys, my experience, and believe me, I've gone on many listing appointments. 70% of the time, that question of do you discount is a courtesy question. It's like that Midwestern, well, I got to ask for it to see if I get it.
Right.
And if you have your script in place and your value proposition is on point and you know what you're offering, a quick rebuttal of that and not spending too much time talking about it gets you moving on. If they come back to it again, okay, I've got commission as the #1 concern. What I will tell you, in this hot of a market, if you're going a listing appointment in Tosa for $350,000, talk about the price. Okay, I've given you my price first. I never ask what the other agent said. How does my price compare to the other agent? 99% of the time they say, oh, you guys are right in line. Perfect. So if I do my job and do it well, we're gonna get you a great offer. So if we're gonna list for $350, tell you what, I'll discount if we have to take $340 or less. If we end up taking $340 or less, I'll go down to 5%. There you go. You've agreed to a number there. That works well. Trying to think of the other, I will tell you guys, if after the 3rd time or 4th time commission is still the objection, I will discount. 100% of 0, if you don't get the listing, is 0. A 5% listing when you close is still a closing. But what I will tell you is get better at your scripts, because you don't need to discount as much as you are. The former broker I was at, she made everybody take it at 6%. If you didn't take it at 6%, you had to pay her cut off of 6%. Well, I sat on a lot of listing appointments. There was never a 6% listing that crossed her desk because she was constantly discounting. So I didn't have the scripts in place. Now we've learned from killer Keller Williams agents across the country, get your scripts in place. When I present on the listing contract, my state, so as I'm reviewing, okay, they're going to list with me. Great. We start. And I'll be honest, a lot of times we're not talking about commission until we're signing the listing contract. Half the time, maybe, Janine,
Right.
they are so in bed with us. They are so excited about this. We're rolling along. And that's sometimes, I'd say, the high percentage when someone's signing the contract and asks about commission, that's the courtesy question. They're just going to see what they can get out of you. So, okay, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, around this page, this talks about commission. And we're 6% commission plus $695. And of this, Janine, 2.4% goes to the cooperating agent. So I just like to make sure you know that 2.4% comes out of the 6% total. And I have my hands on the page. I'm flipping to the next page.
That's exactly right.
I don't stall. Okay, so we're 6% commission, and then there's this $295 brokerage commission. Well, what's that? No. You gotta be and practice it. So Janine, go to this page. This is where it talks about commission. We're 6% commission plus 695. And of that, 2.4% goes to the cooperating agent. So I always like to point out that that comes out of the 6%. It's not on top of. Flip, done, next. On to the next page.
That
Practice
works.
it. It works beautifully.
Yeah.
There's a Keller Williams agent. I can't remember where he's out of. He puts 8.76% in parentheses, choose one plus the brokerage fee. And his script is better. I have not gotten my big boy pants on to feel comfortable doing this. But when he gets that page, he actually spins it around and says, okay, guys, which one would you like?
Yeah.
And he said a large majority of the time say, well, what do I get for the different percentages? Well, let me explain that. And he does. He has a value proposition for each one. If someone's going to sign at 8%, whatever it's going to be, I'm going to hire a circus performer to perform in the front, or whatever your reason is for 8%, have it and agree to spend it. But he said a majority of them pick the middle. Why do they pick the middle? Because they don't want to pay the most, and they don't want to be cheap and take the least. And he said his average listing commission is just over 6.7%, I think it was, in a market that's below 6%. So talk about knowing your script.
Yeah. So scripts have come up quite a bit. And I think if everyone can see the importance of having a script, because if you don't, what comes out of your mouth is your script. So really the objection handling is key. So when you're working with let's say you meet a buyer at an open house, Jay, and you have a conversation with them, how do you handle that first time home buyer? Is there anything different that you think you do versus what you see out there with other agents?
Especially for first time home buyer, we meet at the office. COVID or not, we're going to sit down and we're going to meet and we're going to talk about their needs and wants. And then I'm going to show them in MLS. Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, you want a house in Shorewood, Whitefish Bay, or Fox Point. You want at least a 3-bedroom, bath and a half, and you want to pay less than $400, and you want a 2-car garage. Great. Let's put all this in. Okay, here's I'm sorry, there's no house to pick from. So let's talk about what that market looks like. Let's talk about what your non-negotiables are. Everybody wants a fenced in yard. Everybody wants a 2-car garage. Everybody. So put it all in there and show how limiting it is. Then play that game of, okay, guys, if we take out fenced in yard, here's what opens up. So we talk about it, we show them, and I show them a couple of examples of houses in their area that have recently closed, that closed over asking price, to get them to understand what the market's doing.
Yep.
And then I quadruple reassure them, but I'm not looking at this relationship as a transaction. This is a relationship, guys. And we see lots of buyers in this market writing very risky offers for their clients, just to get the house. And unless you have an extra $10,000 or $20,000 burning a hole in your savings account, I'm not your agent to do that. We're going to talk about the risks and rewards in every offer to purchase that we're going to write. And then I pull out an offer to purchase. We review, the home inspection. What does right to cure mean? Appraisal contingency, financing contingency. I then talk about my lender partner, that if you get pre-approved with my lender partner, he will work on his closing costs. His rates are very competitive. Oh, and by the way, once we pick the property and I know the price, I can call him. He puts it in his system and can potentially waive the appraisal contingency. I don't think any other lender or any other buyer's agent is talking to their buyer like that. And suddenly it's like, oh my God, so my offer gets better if I can waive my appraisal? Yep. And I got the guy that can help us on that.
And guys, that was Scott Halverson that was on last week from A+ Mortgage. Just a reminder of that. Jay, I know you've got to run off, but I'm going to ask you a question. So when we are considering to put an agent on our team, from your perspective, what is it that you see that sets people apart from others? Like, what are you particularly looking for? And what skills, mindsets do they have that you're looking for?
The first one is the unquantifiable, which is grit and hustle. You can't teach hustle. I can teach you how to write a contract. I can teach you how to practice real estate. But I need to see someone that has grit and hustle. And I'll use, I don't know if she's on the call or not. So hopefully she's not, so I can talk about her.
LA?
Oh shit. Oh, she's on the call. Okay. Guys, LA joined my team. She sought me out on Facebook and like basically kind of kicked my door down. Like, I'm coming to meet with you. I want to talk to you. I should be in business with you. I think is some kind of how she phrased it. Like, okay, this woman is newly licensed and came kicking and clawing at me in a very nice way. I mean, super, but I was like, okay, this woman wants a real estate career. She wants to build a business. And yeah, sure enough, walked in the door. We had a phenomenal conversation. Janine and I then interviewed her. So first and foremost, it's grit and it's hustle. And then it's reading the room. It's reading your audience and someone that can engage, because you got to engage with a million different people during the day as a real estate agent. And the ability for someone to sit across from you at the table and read the room is big. I know it's somewhat vague.
No, what I notice in you, and I think honestly, that is the magnetism that you have with clients and you said it from the very beginning, it's your passion.
Mhm.
So that's why I chose Jay as my agent. When I met him 7 years ago, I interviewed several agents. Jay was fairly new, and a couple of my then clients in a different industry recommended Jay, but he seemed and acted extremely interested in real estate and had this excitement about it that I wanted to be a part of, because I know that's how he's going to portray my house. So I wanted that enthusiasm with me. And also as a buyer, he was my buying agent when we bought a house, and his enthusiasm and flexibility to go and show property and just that sense of humor was really what attracted us to Jay. And I can see it when he's out in the field. Like, you want to be with someone like that. You want to be with someone that has the energy and the knowledge. And you can have all the knowledge in the world about a property, but if it's delivered in such a way you're going, oh my God, I'm so bored. You're not going to have the outcome that I think you could if you maybe spin it a little bit with your personality. So that's what I see. And going back to the very beginning, going into that office every day. We are in that office every single day. That has never changed. We started working out of your den at your house.
That's right.
In Shorewood for 3 or 4 months. And we were there every day. And if you weren't, it's like, what the hell is wrong with you? Are you sick? Where are you? It was just expected that of course you're going to show up to your job every day. If you want.
Yeah, my biggest turnoff when someone we interview says, I say, why'd you get into real estate? I like the flexibility of creating my own hours. Okay, next, thank you. How quickly can you get up and leave my desk? Because that is the epitome of, I want that flexibility. So you don't want to work. Okay.
Right. Or I want someone to keep me in line. No, you need to keep yourself in line. I mean, honestly, those are all the attributes that you need to show up with, regardless if you're an independent agent or want to be on a team. You've got to have that self-motivation and drive, which is very evident in how you present yourself. Thank you, Jay, for your time.
My pleasure. Okay, do I get one parting word of wisdom?
Yes, I want you to.
Okay, guys, if you have not, download the audiobook Profit First. It is by Mike Michalowicz. And as a new agent, nobody taught me to get my financial shit straight. And this book, as someone I do not enjoy, can't remember the last time I balanced my checkbook, and this was before I was making money. I'm not a financial person. I like my numbers. I like to see what's in my checking account, but I don't balance it. So Profit First, it changed how we run our financial life. So you create one account, all of your commission. First of all, take one step back, create an LLC and or an S corporation, and talk to an accountant to understand. And I don't remember if I had to be a broker first, and then I could create an S corp. I don't know all that. Someone smarter told me. Create an LLC or an S corp and pay yourself from Keller Williams. Your commission check should be cut to that LLC. Put that into one checking account. Then you have 4 other accounts: a profit account, a pay account, an expense account, and a taxes account. And you create the percentages, and this book will help you show those percentages. And if you've got credit card debt, or you've got some debt you want to pay off or something, put that profit percent low, but put it at least 1%. So every check that comes in from your closing, it automatically gets divvied up into these 4 accounts. Pay yourself profit first. And at quarterly, you have to take the money out of that account. And whether it's $2, you get to go have the most wonderful $2 cup of coffee at Starbucks and congratulate yourself that you paid yourself profit. And then the other accounts, your owner pay, what you're actually paying yourself to live. The next one is your expense account. And, agents on a team have the luxury of that expense account is little or none. And then taxes. As someone who had a phenomenal year a few years ago, we didn't budget properly for taxes, and it was a disaster. Don't do what I did. And if you do it soon enough, creates a good habit for you. So Profit First for all of you, because I'm guessing probably 75% of you are great salespeople and are really bad accountants. It is easy. If I can do it, you can do it. Great book, good to listen to. It'll also make you appreciate, for an individual agent, there's not high expenses or cost of running your business. When my dad passed away, he owned a metals foundry. Talk about huge overhead, payroll, supplies, building expense. Like, it was mind-boggling. So Profit First changed my world. It will change yours too. That's it.
That's a lot.
Awesome. Thank you, Jay.
All right, guys, make it a great
Thank you,
day.
Jay. Have a good day. I'll
All right,
see
take
you
care.
later.
All right.
Awesome.
Yeah.
He's amazing.
He is. And I got to tell you, it's exactly what I said when I first met Jay, was his enthusiasm. Honestly, I didn't necessarily care. I didn't care at all that he was new. And it was his enthusiasm and his ability to close me as a seller. He had all of his paperwork right there, and no other agent that came through my house had paperwork with them. So that assumptive close was amazing. And he was very, very, very honest about the negatives and the positives. So I kind of knew that I was going to be getting someone honest. So that's one thing that I can honestly say is it's not only the grit, it is, it's just how you carry yourself and your enthusiasm and knowledge.
I agree.
Knowledge.
I agree. Yeah. My last 2 listings, the one gentleman's best friend is a discount broker out here, and he was hammering me to do 3%, but he really liked me. He went with me because he liked my energy, and his best friend is one of the discount brokers out here. And then I listed his nephew's house too.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Janine, did he say that their book is called
Profit First.
Profit First?
Yep. If you Google it, probably find who the author is or go on Amazon.
Mike Michalowicz.
Okay. Yeah. Get it on Amazon.
It's very good.
Yes.
It's on Amazon. 3 people ordered it here already.
I love it. I love it. So
Hey, one of the big things that I grabbed that I wrote down from Jay, and I hope everybody took notes, because even though I've known Jay a long time and I've heard him speak numerous times, I always pick up something when he speaks. The one thing that I have a big star by is, in the absence of value and performance, they will discount their fees. In the
Yeah.
absence of value and performance, they will discount their commission.
Yep.
I like that a lot.
That's a clincher, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yep. I agree. And I think the least prepared agent is the one that comes in and discounts their fees, because they are
Yes.
not prepared. They don't have the backup, the comparables, the whatever, that they don't have the tools in their toolbox. So they're just going to automatically discount their fees.
Yep.
So, I mean, I go back in at, it always stumps, you know, it's kind of like the Oprah jaw drop on the last Sunday's interview was, if they're so quick to reduce your commission, what makes me nervous about that is how quickly they're not going to be negotiating on your behalf. And it really stops them in their track, because that's so absolutely right. They're just thinking about how quickly they can get your property under contract. And I'm always looking at the bottom line of what you're going to net. And that's part of the commission, but that's not everything. So I hope that, you know, if you come from the mindset of, I'm brand new and I've never done this before, or I'm getting my feet wet, what is going to determine your success is honestly how hard you decide you're going to work. And that is the bottom line. If you get up every single day, and I honestly think to myself, I don't have a paycheck coming in, I need to get a paycheck in the next 30 to 45 days. What am I doing today that's going to put money in my bank? Every single day, it's almost as though we have the mindset of scarcity. And that is what drives us, is that we need to fill that pot. And how are we going to do so?
Well, partly because you reinvent yourself after every closing. You're already reinventing yourself every day.
Yeah.
And if I could just add to say, for new people, it's not just about working hard. It's also about working smart. Like, you know,
Yes.
follow the people who've gone before you, follow the Keller Williams model. You spend your energy on things that will be productive for you, because you can work hard all you want, but if you're not doing the right things, it's not going to make a difference.
That is absolutely true. And I know that we shadowed and did as many money producing activities that we possibly could, you know, and motion doesn't mean that you're working hard or you're working smart. It's working smart. And Jay did say that he is not great at time blocking, which it's getting better, but honestly, life could be a lot easier if time blocking was a big part of his day. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm better at that than he is, which is only one thing, but I have more control over my day because I time block.
I agree 100%. Well, and look at the industry you came from, Janine. Your last industry was on a book. We call it on a book. So, yeah. So Janine comes from
Aesthetics.
aesthetics. I was going to say skin stuff. She comes from the aesthetics world, and I come from the hair world, and we worked on appointments. So you book an appointment every hour, or every hour and a half, or every 2 hours. If you have time, you can book something in between. So we're just used to that schedule of sort. We didn't just clock in at 8 in the morning and clock out at 5 in the afternoon. We literally had things booked every hour. And I think that's why time blocking is easier for me also.
Right.
Just putting things on, and I get it done then, because if I don't have anything on my calendar, I don't know what I do.
Right. And see, I think too, having your one thing or your top two things of lead generation is going to make your life very easy and less complicated. So you are not spinning your wheels. Find out what you are great at and that you love to do to lead generate, and you will be a lot more successful. He would not be where he's at today if he did not do all those open houses. He rarely does them anymore. Not to say that he won't, but we're trying to give those to our team members instead of Jay and I. But that's going to be a huge source of your lead generation. And I would claw through that Facebook page at North Shore and say, anyone and everyone, I am open to do your open houses, and put it out there on a Monday and Tuesday. If you wait any longer than that, forget about it. Forget about it.
I'd
Get
like
it?
to add one more thing about time blocking if I could,
Yes.
and that is don't forget to time block your fun stuff.
Yes.
Put it on your calendar. You know, if there's something you love to do, put it on your calendar or you will not get to it. And too many months of not getting to it makes not for a good mental outlook or whatever, you know, any of it. It'll
Right.
just make you more productive. If you know you have your exercise class or your paddle with friends or your whatever it is,
Yep.
on your calendar.
And that should be on your calendar first, because if you start robbing your own joy, and you're just, because this is a giving business, we're giving. And if you do not fill your own cup first, you are going to become a bitter Betty. And believe me, I've been there. I remember one of my happiest and favorite clients, I was a bitter Betty. It was a couple years ago. I was fried. And she said, "Are you okay?" And I went, "Yeah." She goes, "I don't know. You just seem really like down in the dumps." And then I started thinking, oh my God, I have not been filling my cup for months. And it is definitely showing. That's not who I am. And I don't want to be that person. So fill your cup.
Because this business will take everything you will give to it and then some.
I am very mindful of when I answer texts, you guys. If I get something after 8 o'clock and it is a 411, I am not going to answer that, because you are training others of how you operate, and you've got to put them in the room quickly. If it's a 911, I am all over it, but I separate it, and a lot of people don't. But I think this is a marathon. This is not a race. So just keep it steady and smart. Be personable. Know the market. Get yourself out there, and you're going to have a great advantage going forward. And be authentic. Like my line is, I am not attached to the outcome with my client. I'm attached to them. So if things start going bad and their sale may fall apart, I am always saying, you guys, I am not attached to this outcome. And that immediately releases so much tension between my client and myself, because then they realize, okay, she's not pushing this because she wants a sale. No, I'm going to know you forever. So honestly, let's move forward. Let's move on. Let's do something different, but I am not attached to this closing.
Hey, Janine, can I add something?
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Peter, everybody. Fellow new person. Janine showed me how to run open houses. And I really poured into doing open houses, but one thing I didn't do was follow up on Monday. It is so important I spent a lot of time doing open houses, and it wasn't wasted time. I mean, sometimes I did 4 a weekend.
Right.
Have a really good follow-up system. You've got to have a system to follow up with those unattached buyers right away and get all over and put them on an 8x8. I'm speaking, don't do what I do what I say,
Yeah, you can hustle all you want, but if you're not following up on your hustle, you're not going to get anywhere. That's absolutely right. I even, if I can, will follow up with them as they're walking out to their car and say, it was so nice to meet you. And, you know, this is our next step. I always let them know what my next step is going to be. I am going to set you up in MLS this evening. And on Monday, I'm going to call you and see if anything stands out. There's always a next step. There is a reason why I'm reaching out, and there's going to be a reason why I'm going to follow up. Don't leave it just out there to the stars and the universe. Have a plan and let them know what you're going to be doing next. Has been extremely helpful. But that is such a good point. Yes.
I won't let it go to my head.
Yeah. So any success this week from anyone on here that has lead generated and got an appointment somewhere? Bueller? 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 Okay. Why is that? So I guess my question is, yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, Bridget.
Multitasking crazy over here. I've been kind of taking around these buyers over and over, and they kept asking about a home sale contingency, and I tried nicely to tell them like it's just really not possible in this market. And they kind of found a duplex that their friend's mom owns, who said they could live there. And so now we're talking about listing their home. And from the advice in another meeting, I think I'll talk to them about, we can even do the 60-day post occupancy possibly. And you might not even ever have to go to the duplex, but I'm happy that you took the initiative and you have a game plan. And we're going to be listing their home like in 2 weeks all of a sudden.
Good.
Awesome.
Really like seemed like we were just going to be spinning our boots for a long time.
You guys, that's the thing. You never know what's going to happen. And the clients that you're working with that you think is a done deal, some of those may not. And that's going to be a shock. And then all of a sudden out of the blue, some piece of business is going to drop in your lap, and that's going to be a shock. That's kind of the fun part. It's just, being intentional with every single piece of business or potential business that you possibly have. And I'm just going to give you my 2 cents on something. And if you are writing an offer on a property and it's going to be competitive, I'm going to give you an example of my situation last weekend. And Connie, I know you had a property that went live. I had a cajillion showings, and in MLS, it stated that the sellers, per seller's request, I was presenting offers Sunday at 4:00.
Yep.
Thursdays were the starting date of showings. My phone blew up from Thursday to Sunday by every single agent, not every single agent, but agents that were showing that property. Number one, they didn't read MLS, so they didn't read the fine print that I was presenting offers at such 4:00 on Sunday. So they were asking me when offers were being presented. After a while, I got really snarky. And I just said, look in MLS, please. It is listed, because honestly, it's like, I cannot help those who cannot help themselves.
I had the same thing. Same thing.
Yep. How many offers do you currently have? This started on Thursday. I am not going to be sharing that information. That is proprietary information. I highly suggest that your client rates the best offer immediately, at the first offer. Make that first offer the best offer. They did not take that for a no. They kept asking, how many offers do you have now? How many offers do you have now? I did not even respond to many of them because it was crazy. So another one. Another agent put in really bad feedback on their showing. Boy, it fell apart on the second. I mean, it was kind of nasty, and it goes right to the seller. and to myself. So I read it. I'm like, okay, well, we're not going to get an offer from them. The next day, I get a text from this agent. Oh, my buyers are writing, and then asked me, when are you presenting off? It's like, and I responded, I'm assuming these are different buyers that you showed the property to, because of your feedback makes me curious as to why they're so excited about the house. And it makes me nervous for you. So he called me and he's like, I am so sorry. I didn't realize the feedback went to the seller. And I said, absolutely. And you may have just shot yourself in the foot. Yeah. So don't be one of those.
Yeah. Watch what you guys put on the feedback, because, it reflects upon your type of business that you do. It reflects on the house. Now, some houses are terrible.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. But even putting in, one of the automatic answers is, how is the price right? Too high, just right, or too low? If you're going to put in an offer and you think something's kind of funky, don't answer that question. Just put in there, buyers are thinking about it overnight. I will get back to you in the morning. They're thinking about putting in an offer. Just anything. Don't slam the house. Whatever you do,
don't do it. So
it doesn't matter. Candy coat it. Yeah.
When we have a listing, I actually like it when people are honest about it, though. It's not very helpful to get feedback that's just like
right
in the dark. I mean, that's not helpful. As a listing agent, you don't need to be sassy about it, but it's helpful if there's something that keeps recurring. We have an issue.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That is the biggest difference. I think what I was trying to say, and it probably didn't come out, is that he was being very, very sassy on the feedback, which what he pointed out was justified, but it was how he delivered that message. It was so sassy. I wanted to call him and sass him back, but I didn't.
Yeah. Well, and keep in mind, like Charlie had said, please give feedback.
Yes.
These sellers are leaving their house. They obviously want to sell. And us as agents, we are busting our butts to get this house sold. And the feedback really, really helps. So of my showings last weekend on my new listing, only half of the agents responded. So I actually sent double messages back to them. And I said, the sellers would appreciate feedback on their house, because they weren't sending them in. Please do your job. And that's what I kind of felt like sending, is do your job and fill out feedback.
Yeah. And honestly, sometimes if I'm getting showings, but I'm not getting an offer, it's too late once those agents have put in their feedback. But if I see a showing scheduled, I'll call that agent and say, please give honest feedback. This goes to the seller, depending on who that agent is. And that is very helpful to then say to your seller, this is what I've been hearing, even though they're not commenting on it. But it's hard to prove unless they're putting it in writing. So
part of me it's hard because I'm like last night, I'm at this house in Oak Creek. It'll go for 20K over asking, even though it was a mess. There was dog poop everywhere. We were walking through the backyard. It was like, bottles. I'm like, maybe I could nicely put in the feedback. Like, I couldn't even think of a nice way to be like, maybe clean up the dog poop. And then I was like, it doesn't matter. They're going to get an offer.
I know.
So it was
crazy.
Hard.
I know that. And this is also true to remember, you guys. In backyards right now, because of the snow melting, there's going to be mess. There's going to be a mess.
We call it dog poop season at our house.
Yeah. So what I have been doing, and again, I think I've talked about this in the last couple of weeks, is that I am literally writing emails, or I am calling potential sellers, and I'll say, listen, if you are thinking about putting your house on the market in the next couple years, you really need to do it today. The interest rates are still at an all-time record low. There will be a shift. We do not know when it's going to occur, but it will. And we have such a pent-up demand for inventory. We're at an all-time low here that we are seeing prices driven by the competition of buyers trying to win. So honestly, to get the best return on your investment, this is the time to sell your house. I've had 2 listings just with a phone call or an email. If you're thinking about putting it on the market in the fall, put it on the market now. The longer you wait, the more competition you're going to have. And all of these buyers that have such the demand to buy a piece of property, they're going to be gone. They've already purchased these homes. So what's going to be left? I don't know. So that is definitely working for me. And it is such an easy conversation. I've had so many people that were on the fence. I just talked to someone today and she said, well, we're thinking about the fall. I went, no, don't do the fall. Don't do the fall. Do it now. I mean, I don't know what the fall is going to look like. Right now, our inventory is so tight. I can tell you that is a for sure. So less inventory, more buyers, your price is going to go up. And we're seeing buyers waive appraisal all day long. And financing, they're crazy. Let's go with it. So that's the one phone call and email that has been highly successful. It doesn't take much. And if you don't have any past business, then call your sphere, have your list of who you can call, and maybe they know someone that's going to move. So next week, I have interviewed agents around the country, all over the place, finding out what their top 5 biggest customer service things that they do for their clients. And I was blown away. And a lot of it has to do with buyers right now that are not getting properties. That these agents are writing and writing and writing for these buyers. And it's a sense of defeat. And there's some really great ideas to keep your buyers engaged during this time that it just blew me away. And I like hearing what people are doing around the United States because it also gives us fresh insight of what we haven't been thinking of yet. And that's where I get a lot of my ideas. So please come to that. Any comments, suggestions, anything that's going on with you this week that you need help with, that you're kind of stuck? What can we help you with?
I have one more suggestion.
Yes.
And then I need to bounce, but that is that when you have a listing, I think the best approach really is to say we're going to present offers on Sunday, because so often I know that people have run into this. And even when people have said we're going to present offers on Sunday, suddenly an offer comes along on Friday and then it's under contract and everybody's like, what do you mean it's under contract? You said it was going to be, you're going to wait till Sunday. First of all, that does not do your seller any favors, because obviously competition is the name of the game. Let the market decide what the price is going to be. Don't take the first one. It's just better professionally. It's better competitively. You're going to do a better job for your seller. And if you explain it ahead of time and prepare them and say, even if we get a full price offer, even if we get an offer that you can't even believe is true and the deadline is Friday night, they'll be there by Sunday, I promise. So just kind of something that I keep hearing about and not running into so much, but certainly hearing about. And I think if you have a listing, it's just courtesy almost to let people see the house, and the outcome is going to be better for your seller.
Yes, and make sure when you put it in MLS that per seller's request, because I got my hand slapped, or we did, when one was put through that any and all offers to be presented Sunday at 4:00. Well, it has to be the seller's request. So seller requests at any and all offers. And it's so true, because I have been teed up to show something where that verbiage is in there, and then it's under contract. Now, the seller, no matter what you put in MLS, the seller can take that offer, even though it's stated in MLS that offers are being presented at a certain time. And
That's why I think you need to really cover that ahead of time when you're listing the property and talk
Yeah.
them off that ledge and say, this might happen in this crazy market, but let's not get all worked up about it.
yep, because then there's always these thoughts that all these other agents have, because they were due to show it, that, well, you sneaky listing agent.
Yeah.
Thanks a
Yes.
lot. You said. So that's so true. Yeah.
This is a dumb
If
question.
it's crazy good, it's going to be crazy good in a couple days.
Can you, like if your seller agrees, you don't have to show them any of the offers until you like have that time that you meet on Sunday, or like, is it required that you send them over as they come in?
I have that discussion with the seller. So just giving an example of my last one, I was going to put everything in a spreadsheet as they came in, and then share that spreadsheet in the offers at that certain time. But then I thought this could actually get really, really crazy. So it worked to my advantage. I shared them as they came in. And believe me, they're not coming in too far in advance because nobody wants to show their hand. So when I say I shared it with them, it was maybe 2 hours beforehand. And there were some questions on some. It actually gave those sellers a chance to digest some of those terms. And so I kind of read my audience and how they would like to work, but it was to my and to their advantage to share them as they were coming in to wrap her head. And then I still had an Excel spreadsheet. So all of the offers were detailed. And then I gave my 2 cents of what I thought would be the best offer, which was very evident. I mean, it would take a toddler to figure that one out. So
I find that putting it on a spreadsheet works best also,
yeah.
but I'll send them over at the end of the day. Send over your 1 or 2, whatever offers you get. And then I put right in the email, the bullet points of it, because I mean, let's face it, the sellers don't know how to read an offer to purchase. So
Right.
I'll bullet point it in the email and send it to them, because some people like to read the whole listing, or excuse me, the whole offer. And then at the end, when we discuss it with everything, I have been putting it in the spreadsheet. So I have the spreadsheet all filled in with all the information, because, you know, at the end, some of it, it's the bottom dollar, and some it's, you know, 10 lines up where the closing date is there. But this
Right.
way it's compared all the way across.
Yep. Yep.
I have a question maybe for a future productivity training.
Yeah.
Maybe we could do like, we have 5 offers in front of us and they're all very different and maybe unique in their own way. And we could talk about which one would be the best for the seller to accept and why.
That's a great idea.
That's a great idea.
Great idea.
And we can actually share those offers, and we'll just take out the address. Yeah, that is a great one.
I'd be interested in that. Like, how would you weigh a waiver of appraisal versus a waiver of inspection or something like that, when they're like apples and oranges? What's the relative importance of them?
Well, I guess, and that would come back to what are we most worried about?
Mhm.
Are we most worried about the inspection, or are we most worried about the appraisal? And you can go back verbally to that agent and say, I see that you've waived the appraisal. Is there any other contingencies that your buyers are willing to waive? And you'd be surprised what they're going to come back as a counter to their own offer before we even present.
Well,
Yeah, it doesn't hurt to ask. It doesn't hurt to ask, but I find what their pain is and what we know their pain is going to be, and go with that, because some aren't concerned about the appraisal. There might be verbiage that the buyer is going to cover the difference between the purchase price and the appraisal price up to X amount of dollars. It is amazing that the offers that I have been seeing that are so risky for that buyer. It's crazy. It's crazy what we're seeing. Scary.
Janine, I have a couple of beginner questions.
Yeah.
Number one, Jay mentioned the golden script, and I was wondering what that was and where can I get one?
Yeah.
The second question I had, did he have a script library that he tapped into? I would like to find some good there. I looked, you can Google stuff, but there's some stuff out there that's kind of yucky, and I would prefer some sort of best practices, condoned and approved script library that I could tap into.
So Keller Williams, in their library, they do have scripts. There's YouTube videos. I mean, Jay doesn't have any scripts that he uses, honestly. We practice as a team, and Jay and I have been practicing just against each other. We'll just do smackdowns of objections and how we handle those. The golden script, if you email me, jwerner, WERNER @kw.com, I'll send you that golden script. It works as long as you follow up. It doesn't work if you don't follow up. And I never get anyone's information unless I'm writing it down. I don't have people sign in. And what was your other question?
Again, I'm brand new at this, so I'm just, I haven't gotten to the point yet where I'm getting objections. I need stuff that I can say, like an elevator speech. Just short, quick, I come in contact out at the campus when I'm out on campus with a lot of different people that don't know that I'm in real estate. And I need a real quick, elevator speech kind of thing where I can introduce that subject into a conversation.
Yeah.
Thomas, go into the Keller Williams library, and there are scripts for everything. There's elevator speeches.
Where do I access that?
If you go to my KW,
Okay.
there's an education tab and everything is in there. All you have to do is put open house scripts.
Yep.
Okay.
New agent scripts.
Perfect. This is
Cold
exactly
calling
what I'm looking for.
listing scripts. There's everything in there that you need.
Yeah.
Hundreds and hundreds of them.
Okay.
Yep. And I
Great.
think at family reunion, there was a script battle. And I don't think unless you sign up for family reunion, you would have that, but there's all kinds of scripts in my KW. I listen to all of them, and then what resonates with you and what feels comfortable to you.
Did they?
Thomas, are you in the North Shore office?
Yes, I am.
Ask Mandy for the script book.
Okay.
She might make you sign in blood to get it, but you can copy some of the scripts, and we do have script books from Keller Williams. There's a whole book on listings. There's a whole book on buyers, and there's a whole book on basically cold calling and working on your business.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for. I've got.
Ask Mandy for it.
I've got.
Mhm.
Okay. Great, thank you. I appreciate it. Was the family reunion, was that recorded? Unfortunately, I'm still working full time out at the college.
Yeah.
So I wasn't able to attend, but I would like to. Everybody I've talked to just raves about the family reunion. I didn't get a chance to go attend.
Yeah. If you
but I would
signed,
like to.
if you signed up for family reunion, then you get those recordings. So if you didn't sign up for family reunion, that is probably a Mandy question, because it's for those who signed up that they have it in their library, I think through April 15th or something like that. Yeah.
All right, I'll ask those questions of Mandy.
Okay.
Thank you guys. I really appreciate this. This was really good. Just ordered the ebook version of that profit book.
Profit First, yeah.
Yeah, it sounds pretty good.
Yep. It is a great book. All right, you guys, so we're gonna tune out, but I highly recommend that if you are not hosting an open house, and I know they're very, very hard to do, then get in the car and go to open houses this weekend. Observe other agents, other co-brokes. How are they hosting their open house? What do you like about it? What don't you like about it? How were you treated? How do you want to treat others? You will learn a lot. Every time I go out of town on a trip, I can guarantee you I am going to open houses. I have learned so much from going other places, other states. And you're gonna
Janine,
have great ideas. Yeah.
keep in mind when you are going to an open house, what you look like and what you're wearing precedes what kind of business you may be doing. I had a new agent at my open house this weekend, and an agent came in, introduced herself, and I have never seen such a slob in my whole entire life. She came in, I don't even know what kind of pants she was wearing because I couldn't get past her old pink, I'm a realtor and I'm cool sweatshirt that had stains all over it. She had mud on her shoes. She hadn't washed her hair in weeks. And she came in and saw, hi, I'm Mrs. Smith Realtor, handed her card in and walked in. I'm like, oh my Lord, if you guys go to open houses, I will find you.
Yeah. And that goes when you're hosting an open house.
When she walked out, we both looked at each other and said, what the hell was that?
Yeah.
It was really, really bad.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, get, dress up, look nice, be presentable. Because if they're a great agent at that open house, they're going to ask you who you are. And, so I highly suggest that you do that. Go and visit some open houses, put some adrenaline in your vein, and start reaching out to people and telling them that this is the time to sell. It is the best time to sell.
Hey, what's the protocol for attending? Obviously, if it's being sponsored by an agent of KW agent, is what's the proper protocol for that? Do you call them and ask them if it's all right to attend?
No.
I can just show up.
Yeah, I mean,
do I be silent about who I am? Do I introduce myself, or what's the protocol?
I would say, hey, I'm Janine. I'm with Keller Williams. I'm actually just stopping by and visiting open houses this weekend. Nice to meet you.
All right. So that there's no what about attending a non-KW agent open house? What's the protocol?
All of them.
All of them, because you know what? You're introducing yourself to who your coworkers are, whether it's at KW or First Weber or Shore West. I've had lots of agents stop in to my open houses and say, hey, I'm John with Shore West. I wanted to take a look at this house and say hi to you. Awesome. Always think about recruiting.
So yeah, I wasn't sure what the protocol's on that. So I've had some reservations about doing it. Obviously you can go in the MLS and know everything that's being open on the weekend.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure what, and I was having some reservations about, just showing up and, walking through places that I didn't know what the protocols on that.
No,
so
and I would think
I'm going to start doing that. Just thank you. And that's a way of shadowing. It's a way of shadowing somebody. I've put it out on with the COVID. A lot of agents sometimes are, because of the seller, are reluctant to have me come in and shadow. I've had that. Well, I can't because the seller doesn't want it, or has reservations about it. But so, anyways, that's helpful. I'm just going to start showing up.
Just show up, and honestly, you're getting to know the market too. So it's a great. I mean, because we're not having brokers opens any longer. I don't even know if we ever will again. Who knows? But it's a great way for you to step into a house, and you can say, "I saw this house. I've seen this house. I've been in that house." Yeah, it's all good. I think if an agent comes to the open house and they just start shooting the shit, and obviously they're not reading the room, that there's a lot going on. Don't be that person.
No, I get it. I have enough class and common sense not to do that, but
I'm
you know,
sure
but
you do. And there are some lenders that sometimes will stop by, and there's one in particular that it's like, oh, here is a candy bag and coffee. And it's like on and on, like, oh my God, I don't even have 2 seconds to talk to you. I'm so thankful you came. But see you later. But yes, go as an agent, go to these open houses. Don't be timid, introduce yourself and have fun with it. Have fun with it. It will kind of get you jazzed up a little bit too,
I'm still learning agent politics, so.
Yeah. Well, there's always that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Janine.
Thank you, Connie. So Connie, I'm thinking that next week we'll have but then the following week is spring break for a lot of people.
Okay.
So we'll talk about that.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay.
We'll discuss that one.
All right.
Perfect.
Bye.
Thank you. Have a great week.
Everyone.
Bye.
Bye.